Chapter 29. Life after Daniel plummeted fast. Richard lost a job soon after finding the last one, and was back to looking. Daniel thankfully slept through most nights and cried a little while I increased my hours again at work and returned to the bookstore. The arguments resumed, picking up right where we left off while I was pregnant. By the third month, Daniel had developed colic. His screams could be timed to the minute. From 4 p.m. to 11 every night, Daniel screamed as if someone had cut off his big toe. The predictable screaming added an immediate tension to the already wrought household in my relationship. Richard still watched his movies. I was now handling postpartum with a chronic state of depression. I was prone to flashbacks on a daily basis while Richard handled it in the only way he knew how. He screamed and locked me in the bathroom. There he barricaded the door until I agreed to comply. He insisted I talk to him, open up and let him in, just like my father who screamed at my mother while she was comatose. He couldn't get her to open up either. The problem was, I never knew what to say. I didn't know why the movies bothered me, why I felt the need to fight and run. I didn't understand why I kept seeing my half-brother standing over me threatening to kill me, hearing him kick at my door while he shouted, "I'm going to kill you." I could hear Tribble screaming as he bit her ears. While Richard stood over me in the bathroom screaming, I put my hands over my head and rocked. I had fit my body under the sink in the bathroom, curled up in a corner, sandwiched between the U-bend and the tub, and there I tried to forget. Joe was there telling me to get back in my room. He was there shoving me onto my knees and ripping me apart from behind with his dick. Daniel wouldn't stop screaming. I rocked and whimpered, not understanding why the movies bothered me, and I couldn't get out. Tribble nudged my fingers and I pulled her into my lap. She propped her paws onto my shoulder, snuggled my chin, and she purred. I held onto her as if I had just wrestled her from my half-brother's death grip. There, in the corner, I slipped into the world inside my head. There where Sean couldn't find me and no one could touch me. My realm of trees and clear waters enveloped me. I was in the lake alone with my waterfall. I was back at my cottage, in the wood, and no one could hurt me. No one could find me, and I calmed. My breathing steadied, and I smiled. I don't know how long I was there. I had missed it so much. I played in the stream outside my reclusive cottage. I lay on the grass. I gazed at the sky. When I was calm enough to return from my realm, my vision came into focus. I looked up, and there was Richard, arms across his chest, staring down at me and leaning against the door. He'd stopped shouting. Daniel was quiet. I was back in my bathroom, and he watched me with a look in his eye like he had just seen me lick my own blood off a blade. "Do you have any idea what you are?" Richard asked. "Excuse me?" I said. How could I not get offended? "You need help," he grumbled, and dropped his arms, opened the door, and at last allowed me to leave the bathroom. Please leave a message after the tone. "Hi, this is Elizabeth Lundy. I'm trying to get a hold of Hosea. Could you have him call me, please? My number's 555-786-1742. Thank you." I hung up the phone. He needed to know I was married. He needed to know about Anne and Daniel. He needed to know. I needed closure. I missed him so much it hurt. "Tried calling Hosea again today," I said to Richard. He lay on the couch like a sea cow. "Why are you still trying?" he asked. "I need closure. I never got closure. He dumped you." "He didn't," I said. "That wasn't him." "Whatever." I hated whatever. Passive-aggressive, fuck you. That's what that was. I turned to leave him alone on the couch. "And what are your plans if you ever find him?" he asked. "We're friends," I said. "I tried calling Elena too." "You're wasting your time." Within 2 years, Richard and I had settled into a routine. A stale, dreadful routine. He would go to work at whatever job he had while I stayed with Anne and Daniel. Richard would come home, and I would leave for work. I still had no driver's license. Scott had made it clear that I didn't need one, and Richard made it clear we couldn't afford one. He wouldn't pay for more auto insurance. When I needed to go to work, he drove me or I took the bus. Richard hated me taking the bus. In all honesty, I hated me taking the bus. It required I walk home at 11 every night through our less than shady neighborhood. My fear of men was worsening, and Richard's random comments of, "Well, you should fear men," to guarantee my loyalty, only reaffirmed my fears, that males were something to be feared. But my son was growing older, and by 2, my fear of men had developed into absolute terror. I did not leave the house unless I reported to work. At work, I was content where the staff were female, and most of the shoppers were women and children. When a male entered the vicinity, I entered a war zone. Like a soldier against the Viet Cong, my eyes widened and my senses sharpened. I strategically maneuvered myself around the store, taking a full body count while I made my way to the stockroom where I could breathe a sigh of relief. Once again, I had outwitted the Nazi scum. I congratulated myself. I was one step away from war paint and an M16, and no one was the wiser. They thought I hated people. I thought I hated people. I said I hate people. I dedicated my life to that stockroom and pouring my heart and soul into organizing a giant closet. My memory was sharp, and my dedication in everything I did was honed to precision. We had no computer database to access what inventory we had. They had me. At any one given time, they could ask me what was back there, and I could tell them exactly how much of what size, and where. I was so exact with my answers that customers doubted my accuracy. Often my manager had to confirm, "Oh no, if she says it isn't back there, then it isn't back there." My petite figure allowed me to move in that place with such ease, I would scale the shelves like a trained assassin in Cambodia. With pen and scissors clamped in my teeth, I would kick off my shoes and climb the shelves to the ceiling and toggle the 3-foot hall between ladder and shelf. Suspended 10 feet in the air, I organized, hung, unwrapped, and stored more than 20,000 pieces of clothing. This was my jungle. This was my realm. Here, away from all others, I was safe. My productivity earned me the adoration of my coworkers, so long as I didn't have to emerge from my cave. So long as I didn't have to speak to others. I was fine. I had no idea at the time, but that stockroom did so much to enable my fears. For 5 years, I used that stockroom to hide from my family, my children, my coworkers, my past, and the world. I transformed that stockroom into a cave, and I made it my home. Only there was I safe. Only there did I live in peace. Richard lost another job, spent 3 more months looking, and finally landed a night job in 2006. Daniel was 2, and his sweet, complacent behavior vanished the day prior to his 2nd birthday. He took to biting and hitting, throwing and screaming. If I spanked him, grounded him, or punished him at all, Richard would come after me. "Don't spank him, he'll hate you, and you'll be just like Sean. He threw a block at me. I have a welt the size of a brick. Well, you pissed him off. He's wrong. He needs to be punished. I'll ground him then." The bickering ensued. Meanwhile, Daniel went unpunished and uncorrected. I was strict with my bedtimes. 7 o'clock and the children were in bed. They'd go down to sleep for me within moments, and then they settled into a routine. On nights that Richard had off, I couldn't get them to sleep. By that year, Richard felt like a constant obstacle in everything I did. He had taken to baking a chicken at 9 a.m. and would sit on the couch and watch TV while tossing pieces to the children like dogs. "It's 9 a.m. They need to eat breakfast," I would say. "They are!" Another obstacle, another conflict, and the arguments kept flying.